Hello and welcome to Baps Arcade. Now today I'm going to be testing out two devices that were sent to me by Ricky from Youmakerobots, and they're digital tape devices. So we've got this one here that fits the Spectrum Plus. You can use it on the regular Spectrum as well, and also this other digital tape device called the ZX Frankenstein, and that's also got a bunch of other functions on there as well, which we'll go through. So stay with me and I'll see you in a bit. Right, so the setup for this is quite straightforward. So we'll just power off Spectrum first, and then what we will do, what we've had supplied with the devices is this breakout cable. So the power in goes in there, we've got an on off switch, and then we've got a dual power out connectors there. So what we need to do is we'll just grab the Spectrum Plus. So there's the Spectrum Plus, and we will place one of the power connectors into there like that, and then we'll get our video connector. Now this particular model of mine has the composite mod on the RF. Now that was done for me by Wayne Retro Robbins, so big shout out to him for doing that for me. He also did my rubber keyed Spectrum for me as well, which is much appreciated. Right, next we will, now I'm going to take down the, let's make some room and move the specky out of the way for a second and rest him on over there. Okay, right, so we'll plug in the joystick interface. And now I'm going to knock down the feet like that. And then as you can see, there's some little cut-out slots there, and they fit nicely in this design. Now if you look, the holes have already been drilled, so you can take out these screws and firmly fit it to your Spectrum Plus. like so. So it is nice and flush. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. So for this purpose, we're not going to, purpose of the video, we're not going to screw it to the Spectrum Plus. But that's what it looks like. And as you can see, pretty neat. Now we'll grab the other end of the power cable and plug that into that socket there. We'll plug that in, and then we'll get our audio cable here into the device, and then here into the plus as usual, into the ear socket like so, and then your power cable fits into the female socket of the supplied breaker cable. So plug that in, and that is ready to go. Right, one more thing that we need is an SD card, micro SD card. Fill it full of games, and then that fits into the slot on the back. It's sprung loaded as well, so that's a nice little feature. So there we go, good to go. So we'll switch it on. Good thing is this interface I've got's got a nice little power light. One thing we will do is plug in our joystick. If you remember, the original Spectrum Plus didn't have a on-off button, it only had the reset button. So with this breakout cable, that's really handy. So we'll plug in our joystick, turn the Spectrum back on. But as you can see, this is powered up now. So we'll do a close-up shot of that just so you can see what's going on. So there we have the menu, and we're on version 1.74 Max Duino software. And we've got little buttons here, so we've got up and down, we've got play button, stop button. That's just a blank button. So I have put a few games on this SD card, and they're just in folders. So I've got A, B, C, D, E folders in there at the moment. So if we go to B, for instance, and then I think we press the play button to access that folder, and then we can select a game. Here we go, let's go the other way. So I recommend that you only put on the SD card your favourite games. Otherwise it's going to take some time, obviously, going through the menus. But these buttons are really nice. They work really well. So once you've selected your game, obviously we need to go back onto the Spectrum and initialize the loading process as though we were loading a tape. and then we can press play. I think play holds it and then you press play again to pause. And there we go, that's loading lovely. Nice clear loading signal. Ah, should have had it then, definitely. Oh well, I beat him, but didn't chop his head off. Oh well. So there you go. So this also works with the regular Spectrum, which I'll show you now. So I'll disconnect everything. Plug in the video. Plug in the ear socket. With the interface. And then one for the power. One for the power on the device. And the ear socket on the device. Now, obviously it doesn't click together or screw together, but it still looks nice, still usable. Power it on. And loads up exactly the same. Right, so now we'll turn our attention to the ZX Frankenstein. So similar, straightforward installation, but this time this device plugs into the back of your Spectrum like any other interface. Try not to force or bend it on the edge connector. And then with the supplied dual cable, again, one in the power socket of your Spectrum, and that's it. So once it's in, you can still use the dual cable, but this time we're just plugging in the one cable. And because this is also a joystick interface, we can plug in our joystick. And what we do need to remember to do is the SD card that we loaded our games on, we'll take that out of that device and we can pop it in this one, because it's compatible with both devices. So the other thing we need to do is plug in the ear socket. And then turn it on. So there we go. There's the ZX Frankenstein operating. Now we've got a little green button here. And that just resets it. And then we've got a little pull up and down switch. And what that allows us to do is, if we push it, we can then use a joystick to select the menus. So we've got up and down, which is indicated by here, up and down. Left is stop and right is menu. Now what we can also do is change the baud rate for faster loading. We've got motor control and various other options. So I'll just go back to there. So we'll select again. So we'll load up Cybernoid 2. There we go, Cybernoid 2. Now what we need to do to be able to use the joystick is press the little green button on the top, and that takes the joystick control away from the ZX Frankenstein back onto the Spectrum, so you can use your joystick. So I'll have 5 for Kempston, 5 for Kempston, 1 to start. This still looks great even today. Can't remember how we did that though. What was it, Roy? Ah, that's it. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that video. So when you buy your devices, you get this nice little sheet, instruction sheet, tells you how to use the devices. If you like the look of these devices, head over to www.youmakerobots.com. The guy there, Ricky, awesome guy, provided me with both these devices to test. Really is a awesome bit of kit. Nice design work's gone into it. All you need to do is get yourself a SD card. Make sure it's not a class 10. That's not recommended. So a good quality one, but something like a class 4 will do just fine. He also does other devices for other 8-bit machines like the Auric, MSX, BBC. He's got on here Sharp, Aquarius, Dragon, Amstrad. So it really does support a lot of the old systems. So there you go. Top quality product, both products, the ZX Frankenstein and the digital tape player. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. Ta-ra!